Hey guys, Big Midnight 589 here. Here with my buddy Jeff again.
Hello.
We did a movie review a couple months ago. We did Batman vs Superman. Today we did The Conjuring 2. Being huge paranormal fans, I've done paranormal investigations in the past. I've actually been a huge fan of Ed and Lorraine Warren's cases for the longest time. Started off with Amityville Horror. I think that was my favorite case, but their take on the I can't remember what the family's last name. Well, this one. Yeah, this one. All right. Well, the case they're doing in The Conjuring 2. I mean, to start off with the review itself, it's a horror movie. You know you're gonna get those thrills and jumps, and it's, to me, honestly, I don't know about you, like, for me, this has nothing to do with the movie, but for me, being a haunter, seeing people in a theater jumping and screaming over the littlest jump scares, and me going, oh, I can do better than that, just gets me just giggling on the inside. But on the movie aspect itself, they really did good, again, with the Ed and Lorraine Warren's relationship status kind of thing. It's really good how they're sticking to how when Ed and Lorraine Warren got further into their investigations, how Lorraine always felt kind of like fearful of what could come later on down the line. I mean, you read their case before. I mean, you know some of it before, right?
In their files, it's known as the Enfield file, or it was called the Enfield Voices. Was the name of their file. And it takes place in Enfield, England. I've been 1990. I've always been connected to the spooky stuff. I guess I was born to be a haunter, which now means virtual haunts. But in 1990, I started studying demonology, and I first saw the Warrens. They were doing a lecture in Vernon, Connecticut, and that's when I first saw them. And I saw them, and then I was hooked. And I started studying demonology and parapsychology after that. I've been doing it I did it for 20 years. Just about all their cases. I read all their books. In fact, in the mid to late 90s, I was actually a student of Ed Lorraine Warren. And I actually went on, I don't want to say investigation because they already investigated, but I went into a cleansing of a house with them in West Hartford, Connecticut. There was another family that was there. The father shot the wife, shot his daughter. He waited for his son to come home from college that weekend. His son came home, he shot his son, and then he killed himself. And then a year later, that's when that new family moved in. They still had some of the old the previous family stuff up in the attic area, which was renovated. And I guess things started happening there. Ed and Lorraine, when they first went to investigate, I guess the son's room, Lorraine said that she couldn't go in that room because she had such a sense of dread just standing in the doorway. She couldn't even, she refused to go in the son's room. The night before we got there, the family was all huddled up in the master bedroom, and from what they described, it looked like Aurora Borealis on the ceiling. And so we went there, and Ed had me go upstairs into the attic area with a videographer, and they had 2 Wiccans there and some other investigators, and they went through the house doing first Ed went through doing religious provocation throughout the whole house, and then I think Tony Spera went through the house with a plate of burning incense, so all the smoke alarms in the house went off at the same time. Not much happened. That when I was there, paranormally, it got cold where we were at, and it just like it went through you. It was like something going through the house, and it kind of just, this coldness just went right through you. That was pretty much it. I know they did a thing in New York like maybe 2 nights before, the night before, and they said all hell broke loose.
So with the movie itself, I think the way they portrayed the relationship with Ed and Lorraine Warren is kind of perfect. As they progress into the movie, it kind of you expect one thing in the movie to happen. You think that one demon is the main demon, but I think as the movie progresses, it kind of changes, and it kind of makes like almost like a 180. You don't expect it to happen to the end. But there are a lot of tells in that movie. You know that's going to happen in it. It's just like when and again, this is going to be a spoiler video for everybody, because you know I don't do any kind of spoiler-free videos. So you almost could tell that Ed Warren was going to give his cross to Janet towards the middle of the movie, because he was sitting there talking with her about the cross and how his father gave him the cross and how it helped him when he was young and kept him safe, and it's like, you know, it's like kind of like a passing down thing. You kind of saw that coming.
Yeah, but then he put it back on.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I thought he was going to give it to her.
Yeah. What? No.
So I see him put it back on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coming from the case file that I read for this movie itself, I feel like they got down the if you look up the file what this movie's based on, listen to the real audio of what of Bill, the demon Bill or the ghost Bill, of what he sounds like in the video compared to this movie is almost identical. I feel like they actually got that down perfectly. Maybe they used their regular audio they had before.
The actual tapes, it was more high-pitched, and he said he was a soldier. In the actual tapes, he said he was a soldier. And here it just said he was a 72-year-old man who died of a brain hemorrhage. Yeah.
I gotta say, and this is a funny thing in my head, after watching that movie, I don't think I could trust old men ever again.
Well, there's a part I didn't know in the voices in the actual files. They said they were disembodied voices, so they were sitting in a room talking, and it's like the walls were talking back. It wasn't coming from anyone or anything. And I was wondering if they were going to do that in the movie, and because that's one point in the actual files that stuck out for me when I first read them. And I wonder if they were going to actually show that in the movie, and they kind of did, because the girl was possessed or in the process of being possessed, and the old man was talking through her, and then they had this thing where we want to make sure it's not her doing the voice, and you know, so they had her hold spoiler alert again, water in her mouth. And so they could hear the voices, and so she wouldn't be talking. And then they kind of blurred her out in the background, and they had Ed's face in the corner, and then, you know, the girl in the background, but you could still see the mouth moving.
Yeah.
In the back, it was all blurred, so it kind of looked like the old man.
But
but you couldn't really tell. And then at the end, I figured she'd still have the water in her mouth, and she did.
Sure.
So it was kind of disembodied voices.
Yeah.
But in the actual files, it was like they weren't talking to anyone physically, specifically. They were just talking and asking questions, and the walls were talking to them.
Sure enough, in the end, it did kind of come to a point where Lorraine Warren, she has been haunted by this ghost since Amityville, I think it is, or the first case she did, and it's basically a ghost. It looks like a little nun, a nun person-ish person,
right? And that was added to the movie.
Yeah, I feel like that was probably one of those creepiest things in my head for a fucking spirit in a movie I've ever seen in my life. I think they nailed that down for that creep out factor.
Right.
Now they do have the museum in Connecticut. I think it's I don't know exactly where it is,
Monroe.
but Monroe, Connecticut. And I'm sure that they have all the props that you're seeing in the movies now, the real things in that museum. But I gotta say, the movie overall, it wasn't a letdown. It was very good. I think but I think the first one did it better with the jump scares, especially when the girl's in a basement and had the clap comes out of nowhere.
Right.
That I'm never gonna listen to someone clap their hands behind my head ever again after watching that one. I almost kind of feel like I really think they should tackle the Amityville horror case, but they did kind of tackle it a little bit in the beginning of the movie. It was, I want to say, a good 5-10 minutes of that, where they cover the DeFeos and the Lutz family. I think that if they were to tackle that case with Ed and Lorraine Warren, I think that would be a perfect movie. But I think my buddy Jeff basically just pointed out the point here that they overdone the movie of Amityville. Was it Amityville?
Done it. They used. Of course, they did in the last movie. In the beginning they did Annabelle, and that was a takeoff. They actually did a spin-off of Annabelle from that movie, but
yeah.
they included Amityville in this one in the beginning, much to Ben's delight. But
okay.
I think he's obsessed with Amityville. But anyway, I know they're actually gonna do a spin-off, but not Amityville.
Yeah,
they're doing a spin-off of The Nun.
Yeah, I think.
About The Nun. However, The Nun, spoiler alert, The Nun was added to the movie because the director didn't want to. He wanted to use more practical effects. He didn't want to use so much CGI.
I like that though.
Usually, in reality, the things that Lorraine usually comes in contact with demonically, and even in this case, and there's this thing that chases that visits her. I don't even know if that's the right word. In her own home.
Yeah.
Is usually a black swirling mass. It's like a tornado almost. She refers to it as blacker than black. And I guess that wasn't scary enough. Or intense enough, and that would be too much CGI for the movie. And then they did have a devil with horns, which actually at the very end, the nun did turn into this demonic, with the horns and everything. But instead of doing the black mass and the tornado, the black swirling mass, the director decided let's do something else and give it a more spiritual effect. So they changed it to a nun. This creeped out nun that looks like somebody said looks like Marilyn Manson.
It kind of almost does. But like, what I don't know, maybe if you feel the same way because maybe you've seen the movie, but I almost feel like when Lorraine goes into that state where she's like almost like in a trance.
Clairvoyant.
Clairvoyant. It almost feels like you're in the movie Insidious, where she's walking around in the building and she's seeing the demons. Like the movie Insidious has to do with demons, but it also has to deal with what was it, the third world or something like that? They can escape their body and see themselves. I think that it almost kind of like intertwined with each other. It felt like I was watching Insidious mixed with the Conjuring. I'm not hating it.
It's like an astral projection.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, she was walking around as Ronnie DeFeo.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like cocking this gun that you couldn't see, and she's cocking the gun and shooting it and walking room to room, and then cocking the gun and then shooting it.
Which again, I am a little obsessed with Amityville. I'll be right up front and tell you that if they can do that, they could remake Amityville Horror again perfectly, because that was beautiful. And by the way, Amityville Horror House is on sale. Is up for grabs in New York. By the way, I believe it's $3 million. So, so if you want to go have some, we can go, or 4 ways we can all get it together. And
they lowered the price too because they couldn't sell it.
Mm-hmm. So we'll all get it together. We'll live there.
I don't think it's worth $3 million.
No, it's just for the name. That's all it is. 113 Ocean Avenue. Not that I know it at all.
Into a haunted attraction.
Yeah, right. Come in, get out. All right, guys. If I had to give it, I'm gonna give it 2 type of ratings here. I'm gonna give it a rewatch rating and a spook rating. All right, so I would say a rewatch rating. I would say maybe I'll give that probably like 3 out of 5, only because I feel like the first one did it better. It kind of creeped you out more. As for a spook out value, I want to say it's probably like a 3.3 out of 5 still. I think honestly, if they added a little more jump scares into it, maybe make someone in the audience piss themselves, it'd be hilarious to watch. I'm just saying. I think honestly 3 out of 5 is up the scale there for me.
The ending wasn't as intense for me as the first Conjuring, and it was too short.
Quick.
It was over too quick.
It was all leading up to a 2-minute battle where she goes, "I know your name, I know your name," and bam, the demon's gone. You're all set.
Right. It wasn't an exorcism. It was just, having your name gives me power over the demon, and that was pretty much it. And the other one lasted longer. The first one lasted longer. The ending, it was more intense. I'm hearing all these stories about, this guy died while watching The Conjuring 2, and I read an article about how to survive the next 2 nights after watching The Conjuring 2.
Keep your weight on.
The first one was better. I mean, this one was good, but it wasn't as good as the first one.
Yeah,
I don't think.
It all leads to The Conjuring 3. And spoiler alert, I'm a geek and I know this one for a fact. They're working on the Werewolf in London case next for the next Conjuring movie, which I won't give any details. You look it up. You guys can look it up and find out, because we're going on 16 minutes in this video, guys, and all you guys want to skim through and go, "Oh my God."
I already know all about it, so I'll know. I already know about the case, about the werewolf in England. Everything that happened, so I'm looking forward to see how actually close to the actual facts that they keep. Because I know they add stuff and dramatic effect and this and that, so I'm looking forward to see how close they get to this one.
And let's all get together here, like I said, and make them right up that Amityville horror movie again. Just saying. So again,
overdone. It's like 10 movies about Amityville.
So anyways, guys, this is Big Ben White 589 here. This is Jeff. This has been me signing off. If you guys like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, comment, thumbs up, thumbs down. I need you guys follow me on social media if you like. Follow me on the social media, talk to me on Facebook. Let me know where you came from, so I know you're there. So, signing off.